The most important issues that we all know about is staffing and compensation. It's been discussed. It's whether we had the event on February the 1st or not, we've been struggling with issues right now as we speak. There are over 100 vacancies for correctional officers in the system. So if we added additional correctional officers, which we will take a look at, until we fill the current vacancies, we're not going to make progress on staffing levels. There's an ongoing staffing study that was halted for a period of time. It's in motion again, and we will continue that. The staffing levels affect, one of the dynamics here that affects morale is the balance between staffing levels, regular shifts, and overtime. And in particular, a practice which is called freezing in place, meaning correctional officers who serve a shift and then have to, because nobody follows in behind them, have to serve another 8-hour shift. And it creates tremendous stress among the officers and affects in a negative way morale. We have to do a better job compensating our correctional officers so we can recruit more to fill these vacancies, and negotiations, as you may know, are underway with the Correctional Officers Union. With respect to these staffing levels, we will commit to a report back publicly at a 6-month interval and a year to show the progress that we're making or not making. Again, this is an important one for some of our correctional officers who are of the view that we get these recommendations and then we just don't do anything to follow up. We build into our reaction to this interim report, reporting back publicly to measure progress. The second big area that was identified in the report is management practices generally, starting with having a comprehensive strategic plan at the department level, and then all the things that follow through from that in terms of the mission at the individual institutions across the state. So starting with that strategic plan, communicating through middle managers.
Like everyone else, I'm saddened and dismayed by the tragedy at Vaughn earlier this year, and I'm disheartened by the challenges our brave correctional officers face in doing what is already a very difficult job. And so while the events that have brought us here are difficult to talk about, the important thing is that we are now talking and listening to one another and are moving forward to address some of the structural issues that will improve the conditions in our prisons for both our guards as well as our inmate population. Funding for new equipment and higher salaries is important, but I'm glad to see that it is not only that part of the governor's strategy, but it also addresses the issue of working to make sure that inmates are able to be rehabilitated before being released. That is one of the reasons why I've worked so hard during my professional career to work on criminal justice reforms over the last several years. I know that anyone who's in prison has a good chance of returning home to their communities, so we want to do all that we can while protecting our guards, serving the prison population, to also prepare our prisoners to be able to re-enter society.
Once we get the staffing addressed and get proper staffing, we will be able to then give the inmates the programs that we need. Look, we know the inmates need help too, but we have to have enough staff, and then we'll be able to hopefully move forward with new programs and new possibilities for the inmates to get rehabilitation.